Yeah, thank you very much, Andreas, and it's always a pleasure to be back here in Athens for this particularly valuable conference. Maybe the day couldn't be a better chosen day when it comes to Gaza. It's the first happy day that we're having within 2 years of dramatic and even tragic history for the region as a whole. It is a happy day. It is a day full of hope. The remaining living hostages have been released. President Trump just addressed the Israeli parliament, and the leaders are gathering this afternoon in Egypt, Sharm el-Sheikh, to discuss the day after. And this is where we are. Hopefully, today is also the end of another issue. I mean, migration is a topic here. Maybe today is when we avoided to have a Gaza migration issue. Because what is at stake here is not only the release of the hostages, the prisoners that have been liberated as a compensation in the deal, but also the fact that today is the start for the people of Gaza to be able to return, I want to say to their homes, but most of their homes have been destroyed, but at least to return to where they came from or where they had to flee in order to build the future the day after. Now, the EU has been present on this matter quite consequently over the last 2 years in terms of aid in accompanying the Palestinian Authority in its reforms and in providing for the well-being of the Palestinian people. This is to continue in the process, in the new chapter that we're about to open. But of course, the reality is it's a combination of the long term and the short term. There are some urgencies here, which is about life, which is about people surviving, which is about humanitarian aid, which is about providing that humanitarian aid into Gaza, which hasn't happened over the last few months. It's about covering basic needs. It's about providing water. It's about providing food. It's about providing shelter. It's about looking about housing, permanent housing. It's about removal of debris and, I mean, all what the war has left behind. But on the other hand, there's a long-term track, which is about building sustainable peace. And that peace has to envisage all the various dimensions. If you allow me to have a little bit of an overview of the state of the land, what we have is an entire population, if we focus on Gaza, and I'll leave the West Bank for the moment on the side, about 2 million people that have been internally displaced several times for most of them. We do have overcrowded shelters, a lack of sanitation, lack of clean water, of basic services, and the combination of both the consequences of the military operation and those most long-term consequences of what would be an ecological, or this morning I think it was said for Ukraine, an ecocide. I think we pretty much have to face that situation over there as well. Environmental damage, the soil, fresh water, the coastlines. So any plan that comes into the game, once the first humanitarian needs are met, is of course to consider a smart climate recovery plan. And this is what the international community has to look at, which would remedy to the water scarcity, to the food insecurity, and to the infrastructure damage. Now, if we look at that, the dimensions that have to be integrated in this humanitarian response, for instance, the reconstruction of the water supply and the sanitary systems, efforts to manage the solid waste and minimize the pollution of debris clearance, for instance, because all what will be the next step might also produce pollution and CO2. All this would have an immediate positive impact on the population. It would also minimize health outbreaks and pollution risks. At the same time, it's important to protect, on the long term, the ecosystems and the environmental sensitive areas from inappropriate activities, debris dumping, waste disposal, informal construction. So a lot of very complex, multi-layered challenges where, of course, the international community will have to come in and accompany, while also empowering the people themselves to do it. The reconstruction planning processes that are being imagined, designed, will have to take that dimension on board. It should include science-based assessments. We have to remember that before the war, Gaza had quite an expertise on the matter, including Palestinian environmental specialists, scientists, a significant body of expertise, which is gone, but which would have to be restored and re-brought back again. So the EU is looking at this in its various partnerships. This is where we will be working on. This week is also coincidentally the moment where the Commission will adopt its new communication on the Mediterranean Partnership, which is the result of while auditing an appeal of the different actors at stake, and which is to propose tailor-made partnerships for the various countries within the Mediterranean in order to tackle the common collective challenges, but also the more specific ones, like the one of Palestine, for instance.